The darkness of the ancient world held secrets. Even the stars were afraid to whisper. But tonight, the veil is finally torn asunder. Imagine lying in your bed when the air suddenly ignites with a blinding solar radiance, and two towering figures with eyes like burning lamps and wings of shimmering gold appear at your side, calling your name, Enoch. Enoch. This wasn't a dream. It was a cosmic summons to witness the ultimate forbidden truth, the moment the Watchers, the very children of heaven, betrayed their holy dwelling to descend upon Mount Hermon. They didn't just come to watch, they came to defy God, binding themselves in a dark oath to take human wives and birth a race of monstrous giants that would soon bathe the earth in blood. From the teaching of forbidden sorcery to the forging of celestial weapons of war, the world was spiraling into a chaos so deep that only a great flood could cleanse it. Are you ready to ascend past the ether and stand before the throne of glory to see the judgment of the fallen? If you hunger for the deep hidden truths of our spiritual ancestry, hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like button and share this video to help us uncover the truth. Welcome to Bible Mysteries Africa, where the ancient past comes alive. In a world where the lines between the physical and the spiritual began to blur, Enoch lay in his chamber, the quiet of the night shattered by a divine intrusion, as two extraordinary figures, radiating a light far more piercing than the Nigerian sun at its zenith, materialized beside his bed, with eyes that glowed like burning lamps and garments that shimmered with the iridescence of celestial feathers, their presence commanding a reverence greater than any mortal man could ever inspire, as they called his name with a voice that resonated like a gentle thunder. Enoch. Enoch, the patriarch, was lifted from his slumber and swept into a journey beyond the ether, carried upon golden wings past the clouds and into the very first heaven, where the Elohim began to pull back the veil on the mysteries of the universe, revealing a tragic history of betrayal where the children of heaven, the Watchers, looked down upon the beauty of the daughters of men and allowed a forbidden desire to take root in their holy hearts. Led by Semjazar, who feared the solitary weight of their looming sin, 200 angels descended upon the summit of Mount Hermon during the days of Jared, binding themselves with a dark and solemn oath that would forever stain the fabric of creation, as they took wives from among humanity and began to defile their celestial purity by teaching women the secrets of sorcery, the cutting of roots, and the ancient magic of plants. From these unnatural unions came the Nephilim, enormous giants of such terrifying stature that they soon consumed the entirety of humanity's resources. And when the earth could no longer sustain their hunger, these monsters turned their predatory gaze upon mankind, devouring flesh and drinking blood until the very ground cried out in agony against its lawless inhabitants. The corruption deepened as Azazel stripped away the innocence of man, teaching the art of the forge to create swords, shields, and breastplates for war, while simultaneously introducing the vanity of antimony, dyes, and precious ornaments that led the heart toward fornication and spiritual decay. As the leaders of the fallen, Semiazaz, Arakiba, Kokabiel, and the others, distributed the forbidden knowledge of astrology, the signs of the sun, and the courses of the moon, wickedness spread like a wildfire across the plains, leaving humanity to perish under the crushing weight of their own depravity. The cries of the suffering reached the heights of heaven, where the archangels Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down with hearts broken by the sight of a world soaked in blood, leading them to plead before the King of Kings, the Creator whose throne stands for all generations, asking how such devastation could be permitted to continue in the shadow of his silence. In response to their anguish, the Most High finally spoke with a voice that shook the foundations of existence, commanding Uriel to find the son of Lamech, Noah, and instruct him to hide himself so that his descendants might survive the impending great flood destined to wipe the earth clean of its filth. The divine decree was absolute. Raphael was commanded to bind Azazel hand and foot and cast him into the jagged darkness of the desert of Dudael to await the eternal fire of judgment, while Gabriel was sent to incite the offspring of the Watchers to turn their weapons against one another in a war of total annihilation, ensuring that the rebellious spirits would witness the violent end of the children they cherished but could not save. Finally, the Lord turned to Michael with the order to bind Semjazar and his companions in the depths of the earth for 70 generations, a sentence of imprisonment in a fiery abyss that would last until the day of final reckoning, marking the beginning of a promised era where the earth would be purified from all oppression, where righteousness and truth would take root like the most desirable trees, and where the faithful would live in peace and abundance, witnessing the opening of the heavenly storehouses of blessings that would rain down upon a world finally redeemed from the shadows of the fallen watchers. In the profound and echoing halls of eternity, a decree of absolute finality was set in motion, a divine verdict that resonated through the very marrow of the earth as the Almighty issued his command against the fallen ones. When the watchers are forced to witness the brutal end of their own offspring, seeing those they cherished perish in a slaughter of their own making, they shall be seized and bound tightly within the suffocating depths of the underworld, imprisoned in the dark womb of the earth for 70 agonizing generations. There they shall remain, held in chains of shadow and iron until the great day of final judgment, a day of reckoning that stretches into the infinite, when they will be cast headlong into the searing, fiery abyss to endure a torment and eternal incarceration from which there is no escape and no dawn. This fate shall not be theirs alone, for anyone who chose the path of rebellion and was condemned to destruction will be shackled alongside them, sharing in a legacy of darkness for all generations to come, as the Creator moves to systematically wipe away the lingering spirits of the corrupt and the tainted children of the Watchers, who brought such unutterable wrong upon humanity. This divine cleansing is the pruning of a wild and poisonous garden, a total eradication of wickedness from the face of the world, so that the seeds of righteousness and truth may finally take root in a soil no longer soaked in innocent blood, transforming the earth into a sanctuary of blessing, where justice and joy will flourish as an everlasting inheritance. The Lord, in his boundless mercy for the broken, promised that the righteous would not only survive this transition, but would thrive with such vitality that their descendants would number in the thousands, populating a world where peace is the air they breathe, from the innocence of youth to the wisdom of old age, entirely devoid of the shadows of fear or the sting of sorrow. In this new era, the very land will respond to the touch of the righteous, flourishing with majestic trees that groan under the weight of their fruit and overflowing with blessings that defy human measurement. The most desirable forests will blanket the hills, vines will bleed an inexhaustible abundance of wine, and the seeds cast into the furrows will yield a harvest 1,000-fold, where even the smallest measure of olives will produce 10 presses of rich golden oil. Every trace of oppression, every stain of sin, and every whisper of godlessness will be purged, as the King of Glory wipes away the filth that once tainted his creation, leading to a day when every child of humanity is found righteous, every nation stands in adoration to praise his name, and the entire globe is purified from the memory of defilement and punishment. Never again, the Almighty swore, would such suffering be unleashed upon the earth, for the heavenly storehouses will be flung wide, raining down a deluge of blessings that reward the honest toil and work of mankind, ensuring that truth and peace walk hand in hand across every generation of humankind until the end of time. Yet, before these glorious promises could manifest, the world was left to wonder at the sudden disappearance of Enoch, the man who walked with God and was seen no more because he was hidden away in the celestial realms, his life intricately woven with the destiny of the holy ones. It was there, amidst the brilliance of the eternal, that the Watchers, those who had once stood in the presence of the Most High, but traded their holiness for the fleeting desires of the flesh, summoned Enoch, the scribe of righteousness, to deliver a message that carried the weight of 1,000 hammers. They commanded him to speak to their fallen brethren, who had abandoned their eternal dwellings to behave like the children of the earth, telling them plainly that because they brought such ruin to the world, they would find no peace and no forgiveness for their sins. They would be forced to watch the violent deaths of the sons they cherished, their cries of lamentation echoing through the corridors of eternity. But the doors of mercy would remain forever barred against them. Enoch, carrying this burden of truth, confronted Azazel and the other rebels, his voice firm and resolute as he declared that a harsh and unyielding sentence had been passed, and that their wickedness in teaching mankind the forbidden arts of war and vanity had ensured their eternal bondage. The fallen ones, gripped by a sudden and paralyzing terror, trembled as Enoch spoke, their pride dissolving into a desperate plea for him to act as their intercessor. They begged him to write a petition for their forgiveness, for they were too consumed by shame to lift their eyes to the heavens or speak to the Lord they had betrayed. Moved by a sense of divine duty, Enoch meticulously recorded every spirit's desire and every deed, crafting a plea for mercy and an extension of their days, before journeying to the waters of Dan at the foot of Mount Hermon to read their petition aloud. As he sat by the water's edge, pouring out their sorrow to the wind, he was overcome by a profound exhaustion and fell into a deep slumber, where visions of fire and judgment crashed upon his spirit like waves. A voice, booming from the heart of the vision, commanded him to return to the sons of heaven with a stern rebuke, and when he awoke, he found the watchers gathered in the valley of Abel-Jael, their faces buried in their hands as they wept in a state of utter despair. With the solemn authority of a prophet, Enoch recounted the terrifying things he had seen, presenting them with the Book of Righteousness, which contained the words of reprimand from the Holy Great One. He told them that just as man was given the power to understand wisdom, he had been given the power to rebuke the once holy children of heaven, and that his vision had confirmed the worst. Their petition would not be granted, not now and not ever. Judgment was sealed, their path back to heaven was severed, and they were destined to remain bound in the dark prisons of the earth for as long as the world exists, forced to witness the sword cutting down their beloved offspring, while their own prayers fell on deaf ears. The vision then swept Enoch upward, as clouds and mist beckoned him, and lightning-streaked winds carried him toward the celestial palace, nearing a wall of pure crystal surrounded by tongues of living fire. Though fear gripped his heart, he entered a grand house that shimmered with the brilliance of a tessellated floor and a ceiling that mirrored the starry sky, inhabited by fiery cherubim and filled with an atmosphere that was simultaneously as hot as fire and as cold as ice. Collapsing in awe and terror, Enoch then beheld another house of even greater splendor, its gates flung open to reveal a river of fire and a majestic throne that gleamed like the burning sun. Upon that throne sat the great Glory, whose robe was whiter than snow, and whose majesty was so overwhelming that not even the angels could gaze upon his face. Surrounded by 10,000 times 10,000, the Lord called to Enoch, lifting him from his prostrate position and commanding him to hear the final word. It was not for men to plead for angels, but for angels to have protected men, and since they had defiled their spiritual essence for the blood of mortality, they would now be cast out, and the spirits of the giants they birthed would roam the earth as evil spirits, bringing havoc and suffering until the day the age is fully completed and all things are brought to their final, righteous end. The gates of the celestial sanctuary flung wide, revealing a structure forged not of stone or wood, but of living, roaring flames of fire. Its splendor was a blinding weight upon the soul, a magnificence so profound that human language stutters and fails to capture even a fraction of its glory. Below, the very floor was a surging river of liquid fire, while above, the ceiling blazed with the intensity of 1,000 suns, streaked with the silver veins of lightning and the rhythmic pulse of the stars. At the heart of this terrifying beauty stood a throne, towering and majestic, gleaming with the clarity of celestial crystal. Its wheels spun like the burning core of the sun, and it was surrounded by the awe-inspiring presence of the cherubim. From beneath this seat of ultimate authority, streams of fire poured forth with such ferocity that the eyes of any mortal would have withered at the sight. Upon the throne sat the great Glory, draped in a robe brighter than the noon sun and purer than the whitest snow of the highest mountain. His majesty was so absolute that not even the highest angels could look upon his face. He was veiled in a vast encircling fire that kept all at a distance. Yet standing before him were 10,000 times 10,000 beings, a multitude beyond numbering, and the holiest ones remained at his side, never wavering through day or night. My brothers and sisters, if you feel the power of this divine vision shaking your spirit, Do not stay silent. This is the mystery of the ages being revealed just for you. Before we go deeper into the secrets of the Watchers, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications. Join our family at Bible Mysteries Africa as we journey into the heart of the heavens. Like this video to show your love for the Word, and share it with every soul who needs to know that God is still on the throne. Stunned and trembling, Enoch lay prostrate, his face pressed into the celestial dust, unable to move under the sheer weight of the divine presence. But then, a voice like the sound of many waters called out, "Come, Enoch, and listen to my words." A holy angel, gentle yet firm, lifted him up and guided him toward the entrance of the fire. With his head bowed in total submission, Enoch listened as the Lord's voice thundered with a power that shook the firmament. "Do not be afraid, Enoch, you righteous man and faithful scribe of truth. Hear the verdict for the Watchers who sent you to plead for them. Tell them, it is not for men to intercede for angels, but for angels to have guarded and interceded for men. Why did you, who belong to the high and eternal heavens, abandon your holy dwelling to defile yourselves with the daughters of men? You were spiritual beings destined to live forever, yet you craved the mortal flesh of those who die and fade away. I gave men wives so that life might continue on earth, but you were never meant for such things. Because of your rebellion, the offspring you have birthed, the giants, shall now be known as evil spirits upon the earth. Their home shall be a place of cursing. Because they are born of both spirit and flesh, they belong to neither world. They shall roam the earth as shadows of destruction, afflicting, oppressing, and bringing war to the doorsteps of humanity. They do not eat, yet they are eternally hungry. They do not drink, yet they are forever thirsty. These spirits shall rise against the children of men until the day of final judgment, when the age is completed and the godless are wiped away. The Lord continued his rebuke, revealing that even in their fall the Watchers had failed to grasp the true mysteries of heaven. They had traded eternal wisdom for fragments of hidden knowledge, which they then used to lead humanity into deeper darkness and corruption. For this betrayal, the decree was final. They would find no peace, neither in the heights of heaven nor in the depths of the earth. Enoch was then carried away by the Spirit to a place of even greater cosmic terror, a vast mountain whose summit touched the very ceiling of the sky. He saw the storehouses of the stars, the deepest pits where the thunder and lightning are kept like weapons of war, and the great river of fire that flows into the western sea where the sun sets. He journeyed into a darkness where no living creature walks, witnessing the foundations of the world and the four winds that support the pillars of heaven. He saw the heavenly winds that turn the sun and guide the constellations in their appointed paths, and he reached the very edge of the earth where the sky meets the ground. There, he beheld a place of perpetual burning, dominated by 7 magnificent mountains of precious stones, pearl, jacinth, and red stone surrounding a central peak that resembled the throne of God, made of pure alabaster. Beyond these peaks lay the end of the universe, a deep abyss filled with columns of fire that defied measurement. Past that abyss, Enoch saw a desolate wasteland with no sky above and no solid ground below, a chaotic prison for the 7 stars that had disobeyed the Lord's command to rise in their season. They were bound there for 10,000 years to pay the price of their rebellion. Uriel, the archangel of the depths, turned to Enoch and whispered the final warning. This is where the angels who defiled themselves with women shall stand. Their influence has led mankind to worship demons as gods, but here they shall remain until the great day of judgment, when they are destroyed forever. Even the women they led astray shall become sirens, calling men to their doom. Brothers and sisters, the story of Enoch is a warning that our actions have eternal consequences. If you want to see more of these hidden truths and understand the spiritual battle we face today, make sure you have subscribed to Bible Mysteries Africa. Don't let these mysteries remain hidden. Share this video in your church groups and with your family. Let us walk in the light of the great glory together. This is Bible Mysteries Africa, where we uncover the truth that the world has forgotten. Be blessed, and we will see you in the next revelation. In the shadows of the ancient world, where the whispers of fallen stars still echo, a terrifying decree was sealed. The angels who traded their celestial inheritance for mortal desire are bound in the darkness until the great day of judgment. Their end is absolute destruction, a total erasing of their rebellion from the fabric of existence. But the tragedy did not end with them. The women who were led astray, those who embraced the forbidden knowledge and the touch of the divine turned dark, were transformed into sirens, haunting the edges of the world and calling men to their doom with voices that carry the ghost of heavenly music. Enoch alone stood as the solitary witness to these cosmic horrors, seeing the end of all things with eyes that no other mortal man would ever possess. Yet his journey was far from over. Guided by the holy angels, the very guardians of the universe, Enoch began to learn the names and the heavy duties of those who hold the world together. He was introduced to Uriel, the formidable overseer of the world, and the terrifying depths of Tartarus; Raphael, the compassionate healer, who watches over the restless spirits of men; Raguel, the bringer of vengeance who maintains order among the luminaries; and Michael, the Prince of Mercy set over the best of humanity and the management of chaos. He met Sarachael, who guards the spirits of those who succumb to spiritual sin; Gabriel, the administrator of paradise and the guardian of the serpents and the cherubim; and Remiel, the one whom God has ordained to preside over those who shall rise from the dead. My dear brothers and sisters in Nigeria and across the beautiful continent of Africa, if you are feeling the fire of God's word in your heart right now, don't let this moment pass. We are uncovering secrets that have been hidden for generations. This is the time to wake up and see the spiritual reality around us. If you want to walk with us through the crystal gates of heaven and understand the destiny of your soul, hit that subscribe button immediately and join the Bible Mysteries Africa family. Like this video to stand against the darkness and share it with your family and your neighbors. Let them know that the King of Kings is watching. Your support helps us bring the light of the Bible to every corner of our land. From the orderly ranks of the archangels, Enoch was suddenly plunged into a realm that defied all logic, a place of total screaming chaos. There was no firm earth below, no structured heaven above, only a swirling vortex of disorder and horror. In the heart of this wasteland, he beheld 7 stars bound together like giant mountains of fire, their flames licking the void in a state of perpetual agony. For what sin are these stars bound? Enoch cried out, his spirit trembling at the sight of such celestial wreckage. Uriel, the chief among his guides, looked at him with eyes that had seen the birth of time and asked, "Enoch, why do you ask? Why are you so eager to know the truth, that even the angels fear to speak?" He revealed that these stars were the ones who broke the holy commandments of the Lord, failing to rise at their appointed hour, and for their disobedience they were cast into this prison for 10,000 years until the weight of their guilt is fully judged. But the journey grew even darker as Enoch was taken to a place even more dreadful, an immense unquenchable fire that cleaved through the universe down to the very abyss. Enormous columns of fire rose and fell like the breathing of a titan, a vastness that Enoch's human mind could not calculate. "How terrifying this place is," he whispered, his face pale with dread. Uriel responded with a weight that would crush a lesser man. "This is the prison of the angels, Enoch. This is where those who chose pride over service will be held forever." The vision shifted to the west, to a great and high mountain of solid rock that held within it 4 hollow places, deep, wide, and smooth as polished glass, yet dark and frightening to behold. Raphael, the healer, explained that these were the holding rooms for the spirits of the dead, where every soul of the children of men must gather to wait for the appointed day of judgment. As Enoch looked, he heard a voice rising from the depths, a desperate, sorrowful cry for justice that pierced the heavens. "Whose spirit is this?" he asked, and Raphael answered with a voice full of ancient grief, "This is the spirit of Abel, the first victim of murder, whose brother Cain spilled his blood upon the earth. His voice will never stop crying out for vengeance until the last of Cain's descendants are wiped from the face of the world." Enoch observed the separation of these souls, seeing a bright spring of water reserved for the righteous, while a second division held the sinners who died without facing justice in their lifetime. These spirits are kept in great pain, bound forever in a peaceless state until the final torment. A third division was made for those who, like Abel, were cut short by the wicked, and cry for blood, and a fourth for the holy corrupt who shall remain in torment, never to be destroyed, but never to rise again. Enoch, overwhelmed by the perfect justice of the Creator, bowed low and declared, "Blessed be the Lord of righteousness, who rules forever." His path then led him to the very ends of the earth, to a place in the west where an unending blaze pursued its relentless course day and night, never resting, never dimming. Regel explained that this was the western fire, the celestial hunter that follows all the lights of heaven. Moving further, Enoch saw mountains that burned ceaselessly and a range of 7 grand, unique peaks. 3 rose in the east and 3 in the south, separated by rugged, narrow ravines, but it was the 7th mountain that captured his soul. It stood in their midst, towering like a throne of the Almighty, surrounded by aromatic trees of unmatched beauty. Among them was a tree unlike any Enoch had ever seen. Its fragrance was a divine perfume, its leaves and blooms were immortal, and its fruit resembled the sweetness of palm dates. "Why are you so curious about this fragrance?" Michael, the leader of the angels, asked. Enoch replied with the hunger of a seeker. "I wish to know everything, especially about this extraordinary tree." Michael's answer was a promise of the kingdom. "This summit you see is the throne of the eternal king. No mortal may touch this tree until the great judgment, but on that day its fruit will be given to the righteous and the holy. It will be transplanted to the Lord's eternal temple, and those who eat of it will live long, fulfilling lives, free from sorrow, disease, and disaster, just as the ancestors did in the beginning." Enoch's heart overflowed with praise for the God of glory, who had prepared such blessings for the faithful. He was then taken to the heart of the earth, discovering a blessed place where trees bloomed eternally and a sacred mountain gave birth to a stream flowing toward the south. He saw the tall mountains of the east and the lower peaks of the west, all separated by narrow, deep ravines of solid rock, a landscape carved by the hand of God himself. He marveled at the formidable beauty and the cursed valley that lay between them, learning that even the geography of the earth serves as a witness to the judgment of the condemned and the mercy of the righteous. Brothers and sisters, the time to choose your side is now. Do you want to be among those who eat from the tree of life in the eternal temple, or will you be left in the hollow places of the sinners? The Word of God is a lamp to our feet. Don't forget to subscribe to Bible Mysteries Africa so you never miss a revelation. Comment below with Amen if you believe in the justice of God, and share this story to save a soul today. This is your home for the deep things of the Spirit. Stay blessed. Standing amidst the jagged rocks and echoing ravines, Enoch felt a shiver of divine awe settle into his bones as he gazed upon a landscape that seemed to hold the breath of the Creator himself. Yet his heart was troubled by the stark contrast before him. What is the mystery of this blessed land, green and vibrant with ancient trees, yet divided by this dark, cursed valley? He asked, his voice barely a whisper against the wind. Uriel, the angel of the depths, turned to him with a gaze as steady as eternity, and explained that the desolate valley was a place set apart for those who had dared to speak blasphemies against the Lord of glory, a gathering place for the eternally condemned, where justice would finally meet rebellion. He told Enoch that in the end times the righteous would look upon this scene, not with malice, but with a deep blessing for the eternal King, praising his mercy which had separated the light from the darkness and determined the fate of every soul with perfect precision. Moved by this revelation of divine order, Enoch raised his hands and praised the Lord of glory, celebrating the majesty that governs both the heights of heaven and the depths of the earth. My brothers and sisters, can you see the power of God's justice? Even the earth itself is a map of his righteousness. If you want to continue this journey with Enoch into the heart of the mysteries, don't wait another second. Hit that subscribe button now and join the Bible Mysteries Africa family. Like this video to stand for the truth and share it with your friends and family so they too can be prepared for the great day. We are uncovering the secrets of the ancient world together, right here on Bible Mysteries Africa. Enoch's journey then took him further east, crossing into the heart of a mountainous desert where life defied the dry heat, teeming with trees and plants that breathed a sweet, heavy fragrance into the air. He watched in wonder as water flowed abundantly from above, rushing northwest to create veils of clouds and gentle dew that spread like a blanket over the parched land. Continuing his trek, he arrived at another desert sanctuary, where aromatic trees bled the scents of frankincense and myrrh, their branches swaying like almond trees in a celestial breeze. Further still, he found a valley cradling a deep pool of water, where a tree with a scent like mastic stood tall, flanked by the spicy, fragrant bark of cinnamon trees that lined the valley sides. As he climbed new mountains, he discovered groves producing the heavenly nectar of Sarara and Galbanum, and beyond those a range covered in aloe trees filled with stacte, whose aroma, when burnt, surpassed any perfume known to man. Looking north, he saw 7 peaks abundant with nard, pepper and cinnamon, a garden of spices that led him past the Erythraean Sea and over the guardian angel Zotiel. Finally, he reached the Garden of Righteousness, a place of such breathtaking beauty that his human eyes could hardly endure it. There stood the Tree of Wisdom, a towering fir-like giant with leaves like the carob tree and fruit that hung in clusters like heavy grapes, exuding a fragrance that reached across the horizon. Raphael, the healer, spoke softly to him. "Enoch, this is the Tree of Wisdom. From this very branch, your father Adam and your mother Eve ate and gained the knowledge that opened their eyes, realizing their nakedness and leading to their exile from this paradise." Enoch marveled at the tree, seeing it as both a source of profound light and a reminder of humanity's long struggle to return to the Father. He then traveled to the furthest reaches of the globe, encountering majestic beasts and birds of every form and song, each unique in its glory, until he reached the portals where the heavens touch the earth. There, Uriel showed him how the stars emerge from their gates, and Enoch meticulously recorded each star's name, its path, its timing, and its month, documenting the celestial laws that govern the night sky. Journeying north to the very ends of the world, Enoch beheld 3 portals in the sky where the northern winds emerge. He learned the balance of nature. When one portal opens, the winds are gentle and bring life-giving rain, but when the others are released, they bring the harshness of hail, frost, and snow that test the resilience of the earth. Moving west and then south, he saw identical portals, 12 in total, that managed the dew, the rain, and the winds that shaped the seasons. Each time he witnessed these wonders, Enoch fell to his knees to praise the Lord of Glory for the eternal craftsmanship of his hands, a power demonstrated to angels and men alike, so that all might admire the mighty deeds of the Creator. He then turned his focus to the future, speaking words of blessing for the elect and the righteous, who will endure the trials of the final days when the godless are swept away. He prophesied that the Holy Great One would emerge from his dwelling, setting foot upon Mount Sinai with a strength that would melt the high hills like wax before a fire and flatten the lofty mountains. "Behold," Enoch cried, "he comes with thousands of his holy ones to execute judgment, to destroy the ungodly and convict all flesh of their wicked deeds and the harsh words spoken against him." He urged everyone to observe the heavens, how the sun and moon never deviate from their paths, and how the seasons fill the earth with water and rain exactly as decreed. He pointed to the trees that shed their leaves in winter, and the 14 special trees that stay green for years, reminding us that nothing in God's work is accidental. "Understand and recognize the works of God," he shouted, "for all his creations perform their tasks year after year without change." But his voice turned heavy as he addressed those who had strayed. "You have not been steadfast. You have turned away and spoken prideful words against his greatness. Therefore your days will be cursed, and you will find no mercy." But for the elect, he promised a future of light, joy, and peace, where wisdom is a gift and sin is a memory, and they will live out their days in eternal happiness, inheriting an earth that has been washed clean by the hand of the Almighty. In the depths of the ancient scrolls, a chilling warning resonates for every soul walking the earth today. You have not been steadfast, nor have you honored the sacred commandments of the Almighty. My people, listen closely, for many have turned their backs on the truth, speaking harsh and prideful words against the greatness of the one who breathes life into our very lungs. Because of this rebellion, a dark cloud hangs over the disobedient. Your days will be cursed, and the precious years of your life will be consumed by the shadow of eternal damnation. where no mercy can be found. In the time of the great revealing, the names of the wicked will become a bitter proverb, an eternal curse among the righteous. When people wish to describe the height of failure and godlessness, they will invoke your names as a cautionary tale of those who rejected the light. For the ungodly there is only the sting of the curse, but for those who choose the path of the Lord, oh, what a glorious celebration awaits. Before we uncover the secrets of the second parable, I want to invite you into our growing family of truth seekers. If you hunger for the deep wisdom that the world tries to hide, hit that subscribe button right now and join Bible Mysteries Africa. Let us build a community of light together. Like this video to show your love for the Holy Word and share it with your brothers, sisters, and neighbors. Let the message of Enoch transform our land. The righteous will rejoice in that day, finding a fountain of forgiveness, mercy, and a peace that surpasses all understanding. They will be bathed in a bright celestial light that never fades, while the sinners wander in a void where salvation is but a distant memory. For the elect, the chosen ones who remained faithful through the storm, there will be light, joy, and a peace so deep it anchors the soul, for they are the ones destined to inherit the earth in its purified state. In that kingdom, divine wisdom will be granted as a gift to the elect. They will walk the paths of the new world without ever stumbling into sin again, forever free from the poison of ungodliness and the trap of pride. The wise shall be known by their humility, never again transgressing the laws of heaven or facing the fire of divine wrath. Their days will be fulfilled in a serenity that knows no end, their lives overflowing with eternal joy throughout all the days of existence. Enoch, the faithful son of Jared and descendant of the first man, Adam, was then granted a second vision, a profound revelation of wisdom intended for every generation, from the ancients to those of us standing here today. This wisdom was not meant to be locked away in a tomb. It was a gift from the Lord of Spirits to illuminate the hearts of all who would come after. Enoch shared 3 great parables, beginning with the terrifying truth that a day is coming when the righteous will be gathered like precious wheat, while the sinners will be winnowed and expelled from the face of the earth. When the righteous one, perfectly aligned with the heart of God, reveals himself, a brilliant light will shine upon the chosen. In that moment, the desperate question will rise: where will the sinners hide? Where will those who denied the Lord of Spirits find a place to rest their heads? Truly, it would have been better for them if they had never been born. The masks will fall, the secrets of the righteous will be unveiled, and the powerful rulers of the earth will lose their status in a heartbeat. They will find themselves unable to stand before the holy, for the radiance of the Lord of Spirits will illuminate the faces of the humble. The mighty of this world will perish, handed over to the very people they once oppressed, and the door to mercy will be shut forever as their earthly lives come to a bitter end. In those prophetic days, holy and chosen children will descend from the heights of heaven to unite with the children of men in a mystery of spiritual restoration. Enoch received sacred writings that burned with fervor and the weight of judgment, confirming that the path of the wicked leads only to sorrow. One day, a celestial whirlwind snatched Enoch from the earth, placing him at the very edge of the heavens, where he witnessed the breathtaking abodes of the holy. He saw the righteous standing in intercession for all of humanity, their prayers rising like incense, while righteousness flowed like an endless, crystal river, and mercy descended like gentle dew upon the parched ground. At the center of this sacred realm, Enoch beheld the chosen one, the embodiment of faith and justice, sheltered under the wings of the Lord of Spirits. His reign is one of perfect equity, and the multitude of the righteous standing before him is countless, shining like blazing lights as they sing praises to the name that is above every name. Enoch's soul yearned to stay in this place of glory, for it was his destined portion. He praised the Lord of Spirits, the King of all ages, acknowledging that God knows all things from the moment before creation until the final generation. He saw the ageless beings who never sleep, the eternal guardians who continually cry out, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of Spirits, who fills the earth with spirits." Overwhelmed by the radiance, Enoch's face was transformed, and he fell in awe before the 10,000 times 10,000 who stand in the presence of the great glory. It was then that the 4 great presences were revealed to him: Michael, the compassionate, Raphael, the healer of humanity's wounds, Gabriel, the master of all powers, and Phanuel, the overseer of repentance and hope. Together they stood firm, preventing the accusers from bringing charges against the people of the earth. Enoch was shown the measurement of human actions, the organization of the kingdom, and the expulsion of those who denied the holy name. He witnessed the secrets of the thunder and the lightning, the precise division of the winds, and the hidden chambers where the clouds and dew are stored since the foundation of the world. He saw the sun and moon in their majestic orbits, faithful to their celestial oath, giving thanks and praise without rest. My family, this is the God we serve, a God of order, justice, and overwhelming beauty. Are you ready to walk in the wisdom of Enoch? Make sure you have subscribed to Bible Mysteries Africa so you don't miss the next chapter of this heavenly journey. Comment "I choose the light" below to affirm your faith, and share this video to wake up our continent. Let the righteousness of God flow through Nigeria like a mighty river. This is Bible Mysteries Africa, and your journey into the truth has just begun. Stay blessed. In the deepest chambers of the heavens, Enoch witnessed the very machinery of creation, observing how the origins of life-giving rain and dew saturate the parched, dry earth. He was granted entry into the hidden vaults where the winds are divided, the storehouses of hail, the nurseries of mist, and the thick chambers of clouds that have hovered over the world since the moment the first dawn broke. He watched with bated breath as the sun and the moon traversed their celestial highways, noting their glorious returns and their majestic orbits. He saw the divine hierarchy of the luminaries, how one is set in superiority over the other, yet both remain bound by a sacred celestial oath. They neither add to nor subtract a single second from their appointed courses. They are faithful servants to the command of the Lord of Spirits, whose name is mighty forever. Both the sun and the moon, positioned as eternal witnesses before the Almighty, give thanks and praise without a moment's rest, for their very existence is a living testament of thanksgiving. The sun, a vessel of power, brings either a blessing of life or a curse of drought, while the path of the moon serves a different spiritual purpose, bringing light to the path of the righteous, while leaving the sinners in the darkness they so crave, exactly as decreed by the Lord who separated the light from the abyss. My dear brothers and sisters in Nigeria and throughout Africa, can you see the hand of God in the sky above you? Every star, every drop of rain, and every sunrise is a message from the Creator. If you want to dive deeper into these heavenly secrets and walk with Enoch through the gates of wisdom, then you must join our community. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications for Bible Mysteries Africa. Let us show the world that the wisdom of the Bible is alive in our land. Like this video to honor the Lord of Spirits, and share it with your family so they too can see the glory of God's throne. The vision deepened as Enoch saw how the Lord divides the spirits of men, strengthening the hearts of the righteous while judging every soul with absolute equity. He learned that no angel, no principality, and no earthly power can hinder this divine order, for all must eventually stand before the great judge. Enoch was then shown the tragedy of wisdom. Initially, wisdom sought a dwelling place among humanity, longing to share her treasures with the children of men. But she found no home where she was welcomed, no heart pure enough to hold her, and so she returned to her celestial realm, taking her rightful seat among the angels. In her absence, unrighteousness emerged from her dark chambers, finding an easy home among the lost, settling upon them like rain in a desert or dew on parched, forgotten land. Enoch then witnessed a sight that defied human explanation: countless flashes of lightning and the stars of the firmament, all called by their secret names, responding in perfect obedience to the Lord of Spirits. He saw these celestial bodies weighed in a just balance, their light, their distances, and their revolutions meticulously measured and synchronized with the movements of the angels. When Enoch asked his guide, "What are these wonders?" the angel replied with a voice of peace, "The Lord has shown you their symbolic meaning. These stars are the names of the holy ones who dwell on earth and remain steadfast in their faith in the Lord of Spirits forever." Turning to the second parable, Enoch's voice grew heavy with the weight of prophecy as he addressed those who reject the sacred dwelling places of the holy and deny the name of the Lord. For such individuals, there is no ascension to heaven, and no peace to be found on the earth. They are reserved for a day of tribulation that will shake the foundations of the world. On that great day, the elect one will sit upon the throne of glory to judge the deeds of every living thing, while the souls of the faithful will find renewed strength in the presence of the glorious name. The sinners and wrongdoers will be barred from the new earth. The heavens will be transformed into a realm of eternal blessing and light, a place where the righteous will dwell in the presence of the Lord forever, while the wicked are eradicated like chaff in the wind. In this vision of the end, Enoch beheld a figure known as the Head of Days, whose hair was white and pure as wool, symbolizing an antiquity beyond time. Beside him stood another being, one with the countenance of a man, but radiating a grace akin to the holy angels. This was the Son of Man, the embodiment of righteousness, who holds the keys to all hidden treasures and has been chosen by the Lord of Spirits since before the world began. The angel explained that this Son of Man is destined to topple kings and mighty rulers from their comfortable thrones, shattering the power of the strong who failed to acknowledge the divine origin of their authority. Those who spent their lives judging the stars and treading upon the earth with unrighteous deeds will be filled with shame, dwelling in darkness with no hope of redemption. Their wealth will not save them, and the gods they made with their own hands will remain silent when they are called to account. As the prayers of the righteous and the cries of innocent blood rose before the Lord of Spirits, Enoch saw the holy ones in heaven unite their voices in a powerful chorus of supplication. They pleaded for justice, asking that the suffering of the faithful not be in vain. The books of the living were opened before the Head of Days, and the hearts of the holy overflowed with joy because the number of the righteous was finally fulfilled. Enoch beheld an endless fountain of righteousness, surrounded by countless springs of wisdom where all who thirsted could come and drink. It was in this moment, before the sun and the stars were even formed, that the name of the Son of Man was established. He stands as the ultimate support for the righteous, a beacon of light for the Gentiles, and the source of hope for the troubled soul. All who dwell on earth will eventually bow before him, for he has been concealed by the Most High since before creation, only to be revealed to the elect. Wisdom shall flow from him like an unstoppable river, and his glory shall never fade. In him resides the spirit of understanding and the strength of the ages. He will judge the hidden matters of the heart, and no lie will ever survive in his presence, for unrighteousness will vanish like a shadow before the rising sun. My brothers and sisters, the Son of Man is coming to bring justice to the earth. Are you standing on the side of the light? Do not let the distractions of this world pull you away from your eternal inheritance. Subscribe to Bible Mysteries Africa today so we can continue to walk this path of truth together. Comment, I stand with the Son of Man below to testify to your faith. And let us pray for our nation. May the Lord of Spirits bless you and keep you. This is Bible Mysteries Africa, and the secrets of the kingdom are being revealed. Amen. In the vast eternal expanses of the spirit realm, a figure of incomprehensible authority stands firm. The elect one, he exists perpetually before the Lord of Spirits, draped in a glory that does not fade, and possessed of a strength that remains unshaken through every passing generation. Within him dwells the very essence of the heavens, the spirit of wisdom that knows the deep things of God, the insight that pierces through every veil, and the understanding that weighs the hearts of men. In his presence, the spirits of those who have fallen asleep in righteousness find their rest and their vindication. He is the ultimate judge of all hidden matters. Before his piercing gaze, no falsehood can survive, and no lie can be whispered, for he is the chosen instrument of the divine will, appointed to bring the truth into the light. When the appointed time arrives, a cosmic transformation will sweep over the holy and the elect. A light more brilliant than any earthly sun will shine upon them, bestowing a cloak of glory and honor that marks them as the children of the kingdom. This transformation occurs at the very moment when evil has reached its peak, amassed like a heavy debt against the sinners of the world. In that day of reckoning, the righteous will triumph in the holy name of the Lord of Spirits, and their victory will be so undeniable that even those who once walked in darkness will witness it. This sight will lead many to a profound repentance, causing them to renounce their sinful deeds and fall prostrate before the majesty of the Creator. Though these latecomers may not attain the high honor reserved for those who remained faithful from the start, the Lord of Spirits, in his boundless and infinite compassion, will grant them salvation through his name. His judgment is perfectly just, ensuring that while the repentant find a haven, unrighteousness shall not endure in his presence, and the unrepentant will perish like smoke in the wind. The Lord of Spirits has declared a finality to this age. From that point forward, the door of mercy will be closed to those who refuse the light. A great restoration will begin, as the earth is commanded to return everything it has been given. Sheol is ordered to release the souls it has held, and hell itself is forced to pay back every debt it owes to justice. The elect one will rise in majesty, moving among the gathered multitudes to choose the righteous and the holy, signaling that the long-awaited moment of salvation has finally arrived. Taking his seat upon the glorious throne, he will begin to speak, and his words will reveal the deep hidden secrets of wisdom and divine guidance that the Lord of Spirits has bestowed upon him. The joy of this moment will be so intense that the very foundations of nature will celebrate. The mountains will dance like rams, and the hills will leap with the vigor of lambs basking in milk. Every heavenly angel will radiate an uncontainable joy as the earth itself bursts into rejoicing, becoming the permanent home for the righteous, who will finally walk freely upon its purified surface. In a vision of startling clarity, Enoch was carried away by a whirlwind toward the west, where the secret treasures of the heavens were unveiled to him. He beheld 6 mountains of immense power, a mountain of iron, a mountain of copper, a mountain of silver, a mountain of gold, a mountain of soft metal, and a mountain of lead. Struck by the sight of these hidden things, Enoch questioned the angel of peace who accompanied him, seeking to understand their purpose. The angel revealed that these mountains are destined to serve the reign of the Anointed One, providing the power and might necessary to rule the earth. However, their earthly strength is nothing compared to the authority of the Elect One. In his presence, these mountains of metal will become as fragile as wax before a roaring fire, and as malleable as water pouring down a steep cliff. The wealth and weapons of the world will lose all their potency. In those days, no man will find salvation through gold or silver, and no armor of iron or bronze will offer protection. All the material symbols of human pride will vanish and be destroyed from the face of the earth when the Anointed appears. Enoch then looked upon a deep, gaping valley, a place where the nations of the earth, the islands and the seas would attempt to bring gifts and tributes of homage. Yet, this valley could never be filled, for it represented the bottomless greed of those whose hands were stained with lawless deeds. These were the sinners who consumed the resources of the earth and oppressed the weak, wrongfully dominating their fellow men. Their fate was sealed. They would be banished from the Lord's earth and face a destruction that perishes forever. In this dark place, Enoch saw the angels of punishment diligently preparing the tools of Satan, immense iron chains and scourges of bronze. When Enoch asked for whom these instruments of torment were intended, the angel replied with a voice of iron, "These are prepared for the kings and the mighty ones of the earth, that they may be utterly destroyed for their pride." After the judgment of the powerful, the righteous and elect one will finally reveal the house of his congregation. No longer will the faithful be hindered or persecuted. They will find a rest that has been denied to them for ages, while the hills of the earth flow like fountains of water in the presence of God's righteousness. The mountains of human power will fail to stand. Enoch then witnessed a vast valley engulfed in a burning, unquenchable fire, where the once mighty kings were dragged and cast into the abyss. He watched as heavy iron chains were forged for the hosts of Azazel, those who yielded to the whispers of Satan and led the world into a maze of sin. On that great day, the archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Phanuel will seize these rebels and hurl them into the burning furnace as an act of divine vengeance. The Lord of Spirits will then unleash a final punishment to cleanse the world, opening the water chambers above the heavens and the fountains below the earth. In a symbolic union of the masculine waters from above and the feminine waters from below, a great flood will merge to destroy the lingering remnants of evil. As the waters rise, the wicked will finally recognize the magnitude of the evil they committed, and they will perish in the realization of their own guilt. The head of days, looking upon the devastation, expressed a divine regret for the necessity of such destruction, swearing by his great name that he would never again wipe out the earth in such a manner. He set a sign in the heavens as a pledge of goodwill, a promise that while his wrath would remain for the day of tribulation, his mercy would eventually restore the beloved. The kings who once ruled will be forced to watch as the elect one sits upon the throne of glory, judging Azazel and all his hosts. The angels of punishment will then move forth, carrying scourges to the abyss of the valley, where the days of leading others astray will come to a final silent end. In those tumultuous days, a divine stirring shall occur as the angels return to move eastward toward the Parthians and the Medes, sent to ignite a restless fire among the kings and rouse them from their comfortable thrones. This celestial agitation will cause these rulers to burst forth with the ferocity of lions emerging from their dark dens and the hunger of wolves descending upon a helpless flock, as they attempt to trample over the sacred land reserved for the elect. Yet the divine architecture of the city of the righteous shall act as an impenetrable hindrance to their greedy advance, turning their own swords against them until they fall into a state of absolute confusion. In their madness, they will begin to fight amongst themselves. Right hands will turn against one another in a bloody civil war where the bonds of blood are shattered. Men will no longer recognize their own brothers, and sons will turn against their fathers and mothers. This internal strife will lead to a slaughter so massive that the earth will be carpeted with countless corpses, a heavy punishment that ensures their rebellion was not in vain. During this time of chaos, the ancient jaws of Sheol will yawn wide, swallowing the masses of the wicked until their destruction is complete, and Sheol will consume the sinners in the very presence of the elect, serving as a grim witness to the end of unrighteousness. Following this heavy vision, Enoch witnessed a spectacular sight. Another host of wagons carrying men riding upon the winds, traveling with thunderous speed from the east, the west and the south. The noise generated by these celestial chariots was so immense and deafening that it caught the attention of the holy ones in the highest heavens, causing the very pillars of the earth to shift and tremble from their foundations. The sound of this cosmic tumult echoed from one end of the firmament to the other in the span of a single day, serving as a herald for the ultimate act of submission. All beings, whether of heaven or earth, will fall down in total prostration to worship the Lord of Spirits. This grand adoration marked the conclusion of the second parable, paving the way for the revelation of the third parable concerning the destiny of the righteous and the elect. Enoch began his third prophecy by declaring, "Blessed are ye, ye righteous and elect, for your lot shall be one of unmatched glory." He revealed that the righteous would bask eternally in the brilliance of the sun, but the elect would possess a light far greater, the light of eternal life. Their days will stretch on without end, and the holy ones will count their time in a realm where the concept of a last day does not exist. They shall seek the light and find their home in the righteousness of the Lord of Spirits, enjoying a peace that is anchored in the name of the eternal Lord. After this, a command will be issued to the holy ones in heaven to seek out the deep secrets of righteousness and the heritage of faith, for the darkness that once shrouded the earth has finally passed, and a light that never fades has been established forever before the throne of glory. In those prophetic days, Enoch's eyes were opened to the hidden mechanics of the universe. He saw the secrets of the lightning and the celestial lights, understanding how they execute the judgments of the Almighty, bringing either a harvest of blessings or a harvest of curses as the Lord of Spirits wills. He listened to the secrets of the thunder and witnessed how its roar in the heavens is felt upon the earth as a tool of divine will, sometimes for well-being and blessing, other times for a devastating curse. The full spectrum of the lights and lightnings was revealed to Enoch, showing how they illuminate the path for fulfillment and holy purpose. Then in the life of Enoch, specifically in the year 500, during the 14th day of the 7th month, a great and terrifying quaking occurred. The heavens themselves trembled with a violent force, and the vast hosts of the Most High, thousands upon thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000 angels, were deeply disturbed by the magnitude of the divine movement. As the head of days took his seat upon the throne of his glory, flanked by the angels and the righteous, A paralyzing trembling seized Enoch. Fear overwhelmed his mortal spirit. His body grew weak, and he collapsed, falling face down upon the ground. In that moment of vulnerability, Michael sent a holy messenger to raise him up, and as Enoch was lifted, his spirit returned to his body, for he had been unable to endure the sheer weight of the heavenly host and the commotion that shook the foundations of the heavens. Michael looked upon him and asked, "Enoch, why are you so troubled by this vision?" He explained that until this day the Lord had extended his mercy, showing long suffering and patience to those on earth. However, a time is coming when the power and punishment prepared by the Lord of Spirits will descend upon those who have mocked his law and rejected justice. That day is a prepared covenant for the chosen, but a dreadful inquisition for the wicked, a judgment so severe that mothers will perish with their children and fathers with their offspring, as divine justice is carried out with absolute compassion for the sanctity of the universe. Michael continued to unveil the mysteries of that day, revealing the two great creatures set apart, Leviathan, the female beast of the sea, cast into the depths of the ocean springs, and Behemoth, the male beast of the land, placed in the desolate wilderness of Duidain, east of the garden where the elect dwell, the very place where Enoch's forefather, the seventh from Adam, was taken up. When Enoch sought to know the hidden power of these beasts and why they were separated, another angel took him by the hand to reveal the intricate workings of the cosmos. Enoch was shown the chambers of the winds and how they are measured by their power, the movement of the moon, and the divisions of the stars by their individual names. He learned that thunder and lightning, though distinct, are bound together by the power of the Spirit and never truly part. The lightning flashes and the thunder follows, restrained and released by the Spirit, to move across the earth like a vast storehouse, as numerous as the sands. He saw the spirit of the sea, which pulls the tides across the mountains, and the angels who govern the frost, the hail, the snow, and the mist. He watched as the rain was released from its heavenly chambers, led forth by angels to unite with the waters of the earth to nourish every living thing, all according to the measure decreed by the Most High. As Enoch beheld these wonders, the angel of peace confirmed that even the monsters Leviathan and Behemoth were prepared in accordance with the greatness of God. Finally, Enoch saw angels being handed long, measuring cords, flying northward to measure the righteousness of the chosen, ensuring that those lost in the deserts, devoured by beasts, or hidden in the sea would be accounted for and upheld by the elect one before the Lord of Spirits. In the vast, shimmering expanses of the celestial realm, Enoch watched as the holy angels stretched out their measuring cords, reaching to the very four corners of existence to weigh the righteousness of the chosen. These divine measurements were not mere numbers, they were a strengthening of the spirit, a fortification of faith designed to help the people of God hold fast to the holy name of the Lord of Spirits through every trial and tribulation. The guiding angel spoke with a voice of absolute certainty, promising that the righteous shall dwell together in a unity that the world has never known. Every mystery shall be laid bare, the secrets hidden in the blackest depths beneath the earth, the names of those lost in the shifting sands of the desert, and the souls of those devoured by the beasts of the field or the monsters of the deep sea. None shall be forgotten, none shall be lost. They will all return, upheld and protected by the elect one. For in the presence of the Lord of Spirits, not a single hair of the righteous shall be destroyed. The atmosphere of heaven shifted as a singular command was issued to all the celestial hosts. With a voice that vibrated like a cosmic choir, every cherub, seraph, and archangel began to praise the Holy One. Their words were infused with a divine wisdom that brought life to the very air, and they blessed the Lord of Spirits with a brilliance that burned like a fire from the heart of a star. The elect one was then placed upon a throne of magnificent glory, assuming his role as the ultimate judge of the heavens. He began to weigh the deeds of the holy ones on a divine balance, his eyes piercing through the hidden paths and secret ways of every spirit. As he lifted his face to pass judgment, all of heaven erupted in a unified cry of adoration, glorifying the name of the Lord of Spirits. This was the great day of the assembly, where the entire host of heaven, from the lowliest guardian to the mightiest angel of power, exalted the Almighty with a perfect harmony of faith, wisdom, and justice. They declared for all eternity, "Blessed is he, and may the name of the Lord of spirits be praised forever and ever." This song of praise was joined by the ageless beings who never sleep, the holy ones inhabiting the garden of life, and every spirit of light throughout the cosmos. Even the flesh of the earth seemed to vibrate with this glory, for the mercy of the Lord of spirits is a vast ocean, and his patience is a mountain that never crumbles. In that moment of revelation, every work of his hand was shown to the elect in its true light. Then, a voice of thunder issued a command to the kings, the powerful, and the exalted ones of the world. "Open your eyes, lift up your strength, see if you have the eyes to recognize the elect one who sits upon the throne." As the elect one took his seat, righteousness began to pour forth from him like a rushing river. His words were as sharp as a two-edged sword. They struck down the sinners and obliterated the unrighteous from his holy presence. The mighty rulers of the earth, who once walked with pride and iron hearts, stood in paralyzed awe. They gazed upon the throne of righteousness, where no falsehood can survive, and suddenly they were gripped by a pain as intense as a woman in labor. Terror was etched into their faces as they glanced at one another, their hearts heavy with a dread they could no longer outrun. Despair seized their souls when they finally looked upon the Son of Man seated in his glory. They realized then that he was the one who had been hidden from their sight, yet had ruled over all their empires from the beginning. The kings and the mighty, once so exalted in their own eyes, fell face down in the dust. They pleaded for a shred of mercy from the Son of Man, placing their desperate hopes in the very one they had ignored. But the Lord of Spirits pressed upon them with such a crushing weight of truth that they fled from his presence in shame, a thickening darkness settling over them like a shroud. They were handed over to the angels of punishment to face the vengeance for every act of oppression they had committed against the chosen. Their downfall became a source of rejoicing for the righteous, who saw the wrath of the Lord rest upon their oppressors and his sword drench in the blood of the unjust. On that day, the righteous and the elect will finally be safe, never again forced to look upon the faces of those who practiced lawlessness. The Lord of Spirits will make his home among them, and they will share meals with the Son of Man, rising and lying down in a peace that spans across eternity. No longer burdened by the sorrows of the world, they will be clothed in garments of glory, garments of life that will never age, never fade, and never tear. While the righteous flourish, the fallen kings will beg for just a moment of respite to confess their sins, but they will find no rest. Light will vanish from them forever, and they will admit in their agony, "We did not believe in him. We placed our hope in our kingdoms and our fleeting glory. Now, our unrighteous gains cannot save us from the burdens of Sheol. They will be cast out, driven away by the sword of the Son of Man, never to return." My brothers and sisters, the time to choose your path is now. Will you be among those who share a meal with the Son of Man, or will you be left in the darkness? This is the deep truth that the world tries to hide, but here at Bible Mysteries Africa, we bring the light of the ancient scrolls directly to you. If you want to walk in the wisdom of Enoch and prepare your heart for the great day, do not wait. Hit that subscribe button right now and join our family. Like this video to stand with the righteous and share it with your community so they too can be saved from the coming storm. Your support helps us spread the word across our beautiful land. This is Bible Mysteries Africa, where the truth sets you free. Stay blessed and stay in the light.